For as long as I can remember, I'd always had some sort of little world living in my head. Sometimes I even had multiple to occupy my thoughts. While most had been lost to the stars, there is one that always persisted and never faded from my mind, even in the 15 plus years it's been since its first conception. And that is Dreamwalkers, a novel slash book series originally that was heavily inspired by the Warriors book series. Later, I added elements of my favorite anime at the time, Bleach, specifically the Hellverse movie, and a truckload of teenage angst. From what I remember, the base premise was there was a group of cats that lived in the mountains that one day were being haunted by the spirits of evil dead cats that they called fear ghosts that broke out of hell to attack the living, but Hurricane, our main protagonist and totally not a self-insert, was the only one that could fight them, even in their ghostly dream forms. Recognizing her power, one of the fear ghosts, named Storm Rage, began visiting Hurricane in her dreams, promising her sacred knowledge and power to help her one day become leader, all while manipulating the perception of everyone around her to make them mistrust her or fear her, in an attempt to convince her that he was the only one that understood her. Yeah, pretty edgy stuff. This story went through so many rewrites and reorganizations until I kind of just lost hope in it and was very insecure about the story being taken seriously, so I focused on other stories and focused on trying to survive my senior year of high school. And that's where it was almost left to rot until one day in 2018. I don't remember exactly the day, but I do remember exactly where I was when it happened. I was in the backseat of the family's van in the parking lot of a child's therapy building where I doodled the main characters of Dreamwalkers as humans. And I looked and thought, what if they were people in the story? And it was like floodgates of creativity began pouring out of me. I honestly almost started crying in joy and relief. For the past 3 years at that point, I had been so emotionally, physically, and mentally drained. To the point where I'd forgotten why I was even trying with anything anymore. So when I made the decision to rewrite Dreamwalkers from the ground up, I couldn't just do the same thing I was doing before, but with people, like I first tried. The story needed to reflect what it saved me from. It needed to represent not just me, but everyone else who was cold and lost in desperation, to build up hope in those who read it and to help them let go of their sadness and frustration, which only meant one thing. I needed to traumatize the fuck out of my characters. Let's start with the main character, Hurricane. When revamping these characters, I wanted to keep the colors and patterns of their fur for nostalgia. I'll admit it, it was all just for nostalgia purposes. So I got a little creative with their hair colors and patterns and gave the Shia tribe tattoos to mimic tabby stripes. I'm not exactly sure how I came up with it, but the basic rule of thumb for translating the cat designs to humans was the bangs would mimic their forehead markings and the sides would mimic any cheek stripes, but also that was kind of the tattoo's job. And the tail would be represented in a half a ponytail. For Hurricane, who was named Alara in the old designs, but later changed to Hurricane after the 30 Seconds to Mars song. Again, I don't remember exactly why, aside from the fact that I just liked it. For her, I wanted to show how energetic and unruly she was, so her hair is kind of always scruffy and tied up so she can run around, as her name suggests. Story-wise, her base is pretty much the same. Hurricane is a young warrior about 10 years old. In the Shia tribe, she's the oldest child of Colby and Iris and a devoted older sister to her brother Khan. I feel I should pause here and just clarify that the Shia tribe is not supposed to represent any real-life Native American peoples. This story does not take place on Earth. I mean, look at them and you try to tell me that they're humans. Just wanted to get that out of the way before anyone comes after me for that, okay? Okay, while she hasn't lost her bite me personality from the original script, I added a deep sense of insecurity to her because if I know anything about psychology, is that anyone who has an explosive temper or a massive bravado is usually hiding a vulnerable side. I also made Hurricane much younger than the original, mostly so the audience can see her grow and mature in the story, but also to showcase that children often feel responsible for the actions and emotions of the adults in their life, which needs to be talked about more. This story isn't just for young adults trying to figure out themselves, but it is also for the adults, especially the parents, that need to get their shit together. Go to therapy. Everyone needs therapy, and don't use your kids as a therapist. Anyway, aside from anger issues, I noticed that in the original script, none of the other tribe members are even named or described at all, so instead of accepting that I was just a terrible writer, I made it part of her character. Hurricane is extremely self-centered and has a tendency to develop tunnel vision for getting the thing she wants. Which is quite ironic because instead of the terrible, terrible evil ghosts from hell bit from the original story, Hurricane has the unique ability to dreamwalk, which isn't as perverted as it sounds, I promise. Dreamwalking, or being a dreamwalker, is a tribal term for someone who can read people easily and see right through them to their true selves. They describe it as seeing the soul, but more accurately, dreamwalkers can see people's inner turmoil and what's troubling them. Not to a mind-reading degree, but some dreamwalkers have developed empathic abilities and can even sense incoming danger. Now, originally I had planned for this part of the video to be where I finally give you the elevator pitch or the plot summary for the story. But there's a problem. You see, I came up with two pitches. One is a little on the wording, but it perfectly summarizes the plot. And the other one is more focused on Hurricane's character development. So, I mean, I like both of them. They both describe the story, but like different aspects of it. So I'll give you both, and then in the comments you guys can vote which one you liked. After nearly surviving a catastrophe that nearly wiped them out, life for the Shia tribe returns to some semblance of normal. The relative peace is shaken when Hurricane, a young and ambitious girl trying to find her place in the tribe, begins having debilitating visions of rampaging monsters and encroaching darkness threatening to destroy all she loves. Tensions rise within the tribe as her visions start to become reality and close in on Hurricane, while the adults meant to protect and nurture the young warrior wonder if she is the harbinger of their destruction. Hurricane is an ambitious young warrior in the Shia tribe who dreams of rising through the ranks and gaining the respect of her tribe mates. Her dreams of glory are dashed when she begins to have debilitating nightmares of rampaging monsters and encroaching darkness. Fear fills every shadow as Hurricane must race to find if her tribe is threatened by outsiders or from within. And for the sake of my sanity, this video has gone on long enough and needed to be edited twice. I'm just gonna end it there for now. Of course, there is so much more to talk about, so this is definitely going to be an ongoing series that's gonna take a while for me to work on. But in the meantime, I will link a playlist I have for all the live streams I've worked on Dreamwalkers in the past. Do keep in mind, these are old live streams, and some of the things I talk about in those streams are no longer canon, but some of them might still be. Might be worth investigation. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one, and